What's going on, my fellow Spartans? How are you guys doing today? This is Spartacus bringing a ring, coming at you with a toy review on the Marvel Legends Moon Knight. Of course, this figure is really hard to come by, especially I had to pick him up in the third market, and he ran around $30 to $40. But anyways, I am really excited to finally have this figure in my collection, especially that he's an Avenger. He's going to look really good with my Avenger setup. And of course, we're going to look at the packaging first. We're going to get familiar with the figure. Of course, the figure is in a window box display. On the right hand side, he does have his accessories. And the bottom has the Marvel and Moon Knight logo. And on top, you have the Legend Series logo as well. And on top of the box, you have the Moon Knight logo. And on the side of the box, image of Moon Knight. And on the back of the box, you have another image of Moon Knight. And on the bottom of the box, you have an image of all the figures of the wave. And of course, on the side of the box, you have another image of Moon Knight. So let's crack this bad boy up and let's look at the action figure. And now that we got the figure outside packaging, my first initial thoughts about the figure is that this figure is a nice figure to have in your collection, especially if you're trying to build your Avenger setup. I really don't know much about Moon Knight. There is a few things that I do know about the character, like for instance, he is a copycat of Batman. And I don't care what anybody says, he is similar to Batman. But like I said, there's only a few things I do know about him. But anyways, I do like the sculpting of the figure and some of the paintwork we get with him. But anyways, let's look at the accessories first, and then we'll take a look at the action figure. These are the accessories that comes with the action figure. He does come with one pair of interchangeable hands, his batons, his moorangs, and his batarangs. I mean moorangs. And this is the first accessory for Moon Knight. Of course, this is my least favorite accessory of them all. And the reason for that is that how many times does Hasbro has to give us the same generic specs, batons, things like that. It just kind of gets me mad. Like for instance, this is the Walgreens exclusive batons. They're about the same, not different. Just, I think this one's a little bit flimsy and the other one's a lot more sturdy. So that's really the biggest difference. So of course, one is white and the other one's red. And this is the other accessory, the moorangs. I don't like calling them that because I have called them batarangs. But anyways, I think Hasbro did a good job on them. Not bad. They are kind of flimsy. Like they're not a solid plastic. Like you can bend them. But I would be afraid of breaking it, to be honest, if I bend them in. But yeah, you can bend them in. But anyways, there is some sculpting in the middle of it, like a line work. I'm not sure if you guys can see it in camera, like for instance like that. It is nice, and it's nice sculpting into it, so not bad. But like I said, just watch out if you guys are going to bend it. Like I'm afraid of breaking it, especially if you notice right here, like it's kind of chipping off really easily. And of course, this is his moorangs. It's a really small piece. If I were you guys, if you guys are going to mess around with this, I would do it in a flat surface. Don't do it in the floor. Try to do it in a table, like somewhere you could see. Like for instance, this kind of table. Because you could lose this. I know when I opened it, I kind of lost one of them. And I was looking for like at least 5 to 10 minutes trying to look for this piece. And that's what I'm afraid of putting this with the figure, especially on display, because he might lose it. But it's nicely done. Like it's really nicely sculpted. It does have the line work like the large moorangs. Not sure if you guys can see that. Well, yeah, you could see it in camera. Well, it's about the same. Nothing really different. It's just a lot smaller, of course. Changeable hands. I think they did a good job on it, especially that they have a Moon Knight crest on his hands right here, so it's not too bad. But there is like some sloppy paint job right here by the hinge, but that's by the hinge. That's not really a big complaint, but be worried about that because there is sometimes with Hasbro they do sloppy paint job on their hands. But anyways, of course there are holes for his moorangs in the center of his fingers for you to put. I will be showing you how to do that in a little bit. Not too bad overall. And there is like, it looks like brass knuckles on his knuckles. Like it looks crazy. Like he's wearing like something for him to punch his enemies. And like I said, try to do this in a flat surface. This is how you put them in. You just really have to line them up. Like for instance, I dropped it. You don't want to lose these pieces, especially on a figure that is really hard to come by, especially like a lot of scalpers are really hunting these down and selling them for a high price. For instance, I bought this figure for $35, for instance. There you go. It looks nice. It does. I'm going to keep bringing it up. It does remind me a lot of the Batman figure from the Court of Owls. It does have this feature, and it reminds me so much of it. But I'm sorry I keep bringing up Batman, but I just think I have bats in the head. But anyways, let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. And now that we took a look at all the accessories, let's look at the action figure. And now that we got the accessories out of the way, let's look at the action figure. I think Hasbro really killed it with this action figure. It looks really, really nice. This is more of a modern Moon Knight. Like, I like the hood that it has, even the cape as well. It has like some kind of shadowing into it. It looks really nice. I like the fact that they did that, because if it was just pure white, I really wouldn't like it. But the shadowing into it looks really, really nice. And I like the armor pieces all around him. Like the shoulder pads right here look like some kind of marbling effect going on. It looks really nice. Even on his eyes, like, I'm not sure if you can see them in detail in the camera, but I like the fact that they didn't just paint them white. They actually painted them blue and white in the middle. That adds a little bit more into detail with the figure, but I like the fact that they did that. And I like the head sculpt. Like, it looks really nice. Like, it looks like he's like a person's actually wearing a mask. Like, you see the lips and the jawline and everything. It looks really into detail. I like the fact that Hasbro did that. And I like the armor piece of Moon Knight in his chest. Like, it looks really crazy. When you have this figure in hand, let me know what you guys think about him. And also, it reminds me a little bit of Samurai's armor, like in his forearms. Looks really nice. Like, I'm digging it. Even in his hands look really, really nice. Nice proportions around him. I can't really complain too much about the figure. Even the moon crest, like his belt piece, looks really nice. I'm digging it. And of course, Moon Knight butt. And of course, he does have a peg for his cape, but it does take out really easily. You peg it in, but I like having it out a little bit, because it adds more into detail with the cape. Because if you have it in all the way, it like kind of hinders a little bit of the articulation. So I like just having them out like that. You can't really tell, but just something to note. And of course, his feet really look nice. Like, I'm digging these armor pieces. Like, it actually does remind me of a Samurai's armor. Looks really nice. You know, the only thing I really don't like is the shoes. I call them shoes because they're not. To me, they don't look like shoes. They don't look like boots. They look like shoes. Like, look like Crocs to me. Like, I wish it was just a boot, like a whole boot. Like, I know why they did it for more articulation, but that's just something that really kind of bugs me about the figure. But overall, it looks really nice figure. Like, there's really no complaints. And of course, peg holes in the bottom of his feet. Like, it's a nice figure. I know you guys are trying to hunt this guy down. I wouldn't really pass him up if you guys are not. But anyways, let's continue on with the rest of the review. And now to get into articulation of the figure. His head is in a ball joint, so he can move up. Not that much as I want it to be, but it does move up a little bit. Can move down, but you have to tuck in the head into the cape, because if you don't tuck it in, it does hinder the articulation from here. So be worried about that. His arms can move out quite a bit, so that's not bad. Does have a bicep swivel, so you can swivel all around. Does have double jointed elbows, so you can bend them in quite a bit. A hinge on his wrist, but it's not an up and down movement. It's like a rolling dice, so you can go left, right, left, right. Does have ab crunch. Can move in, move out. Does have a swivel on his waist. Does the splits about that much. Does have a thigh cut, so you can swivel all around, but it's a little bit stiff. If I were you, I'll mess around with it a little bit for you not to break the figure. Can kick out quite a bit, so that's not bad. does have double jointed knees, so you can bend them in that much. Does have a on his ankles, so you can move them down and up. And he does have ankle pivot. And just for size comparison, we have the Marvel Legends Pizza Eating Spider-Man. And for figures that I already reviewed, Classic Beetle, Cosmic Spider-Man, Tombstone, and the Homemade Suit Spider-Man. And if you could please check those reviews out. And for my final thoughts about the figure is that, of course, I do have them in the Mayfax stand, about to attack you guys. But anyways, that's not the whole point. The whole point is that this figure is a nice figure to have in your collection, especially you're trying to build your Avenger setup. Of course, I do have minor complaints about the figure, like for instance his accessories. His clubs, I didn't like the fact that we did get those, especially that he does have a stab. And if I had to rate this a 1 out of 10 for this figure, I had to rate him an 8.5. There is a lot of good things about this figure, like especially the shading on the white. Like, it looks really nice when you have him in hand. I'm not sure you guys can see it in camera. But anyways, I hope you guys like this review. If you could please like, comment, subscribe for more content coming your way. And as always, have a good one.